today's show is 22 too many. We're going to be talking about suicide rate, and here is a picnic. So here we are at Mustelier State Park having a picnic and talking to veterans that have lost friends. To this terrible happening that's going on everywhere. I'm going to give you a little roundabout here. Beautiful country here. This part belongs to Catherine. Look what I found.
You know, I didn't hear about the flight.
There are a lot of doggies, lots of food, people starting to eat. Cakes.
No doubt.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Salads. Burgers and stuff. We have a nice crowd that gathered. So what we're going to do is going to do some individual interviews here so you get to know some of the people. Memphis. That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, she's going to get the cupcake for you.
So, would you please tell me your name and your function?
My name is Patrick Seifert, and I'm the owner of Rainier Express, Medical Marijuana Collective Garden and Safe Access Point in Olympia, Washington, and the founder and creator of 22 Too Many, a veteran organization bringing awareness to 22 veteran suicides that happen every day in America.
Oh, that's each day?
Every single day.
Oh, okay. Well, I was wondering, I saw the t-shirts and everything, and I thought, well, that's going to change. But if it's every day, I guess it's not going to change, huh?
No, and that's not even a correct study. That study was done with 23 states were included in that study. It didn't include active duty suicides, it didn't include reservist suicides, and it didn't include Washington, Texas, and California, the three largest military states. So that number is much higher than 22, but that's the only study that's come out.
Now, with your shop there, since you are from Olympia, and this is the first time I ever met you, so you're pretty available to the public. Would you happen to have a material at your shop where veterans can come and get information, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. And they just come right in, Rainier Express, and we have a desk right below our wall of honor, which is a wall that we have in our shop. Anybody that comes and gets cannabis from our shop that's a veteran, and they have a picture that they would like to bring in from while they were in service, we have it up on the wall. We call it the Wall of Honor. We give we give honor to those who served America, you know.
Well, can you give me the address, please, since
Yeah,
you're in
it's
Olympia?
322 4th Avenue East in Olympia, Washington. It's on the corner of 4th and Adams. And we're called Rainier Express. And you don't have to be a patient to come in the front door. In the front lobby is where we have the veteran outreach desk for 22 Too Many. We have a hotline for 22 Too Many for veterans in need in Thurston County, anywhere actually. And you can come in and get information right there in the lobby on the 22 Too Many desk.
Are you also a member of Arts Walk?
Not this year, but we do have an amazing artist with his art up in our shop right now. His name's A Dream, and he's a huge artist out of Seattle. He's been doing a lot of work with the city of Seattle. The mayor of Seattle has requested his work a few times on some outdoor pieces. But we do have some amazing art hanging during Arts Walk from the artist called A Dream.
Well, anything I left out? Anyway, thank you for inviting me to this really cool gathering. You know, we was kidding. We expected a lot of regimented type military personnel, and you're the most open-minded group I've been to in, I would say, 8 years. Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, we're not like other groups out there. We're definitely
no, you're not.
Definitely different.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go find your wife. She wanted to talk for a minute too.
All right, she's changing the clothes of my little one, but I'll send her over here in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. I was going to push the pause button, but that didn't work, so interesting. Look what I found. And your name?
Mandolin Presley
That's a biggie. That's a biggie. Mandolin
Presley Seaford.
Presley, wait, this is Debbie. We met early on when I came here. Hello, hi Debbie.
Hi, hon.
So tell me who you are. And
I'm Debbie Polly. I'm here with Todd Derringer. I've known him since the 3rd grade, which was longer than I'll say. It's been a very long time. He's a disabled vet. So that's why we're here at the picnic.
and I understand you do that every year.
They've been having the picnics about once a month this summer.
Once a month?
Yeah, about once a month.
Well, you see, I thought everything was coming out of Fort Royce or something like that.
Pardon me?
I thought it was coming out of the military base, and then I found out it's from Olympia.
Yeah, it is. That's where the base is. It's for any veterans that you know want to come and join.
So how do you spend your time now? What's your interest? Do you have any?
My dogs mainly.
Your dogs, yeah.
Trying to get my rental house together here. It's kind of in a shambles from the renter, so I've been spending a lot of time doing that this summer.
But you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better than I
Okay.
was.
I got my elbows on here and I'm middling. So all right, now I'm okay. Have you had issues with PTSD and things like that?
Yeah, I have major clinical depression and post-traumatic and anxiety a lot. I have trouble sleeping, eating. I'm just a mess, but I'm doing better than I was. I was very suicidal about a year and a half ago. I tried to get rid of all my problems, you know, a few times within a month, and I finally, I don't know, something just shook me, and so I'm doing better now.
So your support system, did the system work for you or the people around you? That's kind of what I'm saying now.
I found that, like the state or the whatever, there's nothing there for mental health. There's nowhere to go. In fact, they shuffled me around so many times, and there was no hospital bed for me. There was nowhere I could go. So I was basically on my own.
Well, on my Facebook site, we hooked up with a bunch of people all around the country, where, you know, if things get rough at night or somebody's always online. Nobody's a professional. We just kind of talk, you know, to overcome some time so your mind can change around a little bit.
You're thinking, yeah.
Right, because when we have issues, mine are different than yours, but it takes weeks and weeks and weeks before, like you said, before somebody sees you. And so we was trying to see if we could find people that occasionally is available, because everybody has a different issue, and the best person to help you is somebody that knows exactly what it is you're doing, and not out of a book,
and
you know.
That's why it's hard to find help, is because people don't understand. I mean, they can sympathize, but they don't understand what you are going through, and that's what I found. And it's hard for me to talk to people because they don't know me. They don't know, you know, because things like that, it goes from your childhood, you know, the way you grew up, and you know, your environment. It's hard. I couldn't just call someone and talk to them, because I know that, and I can feel that. I can feel that, you know. Sure, I can talk to you and tell them they're home, but you don't get it. You really don't get it. No one really gets it completely.
Yeah, you know, I had a gentleman named Dan Bennett on my show when we talked about suicide and PTSD and things like that. And one of the things he said that he learned over the years, he called them the should'ems. Like when you talk to people, they say you should do this and you should do that, and that's the worst thing you can tell a person.
It is. It really is. And I found that one thing that bothered me was when people say, "Oh, I understand," you know.
But they don't. No.
They really don't.
Yeah.
And you know that, and it irks you. You know, it irritates you, and it's hard to talk. You know, I find it better just to talk to friends, or talk to myself. Really,
Very good.
That's what helped me. And I'll tell myself, you know, I know you're upset, Debbie. You know, this is bothering you, that is bothering you. You can't deal with it, or whatever. And And I said, it's okay. Tomorrow's another day. You know, go ahead. And if I want to cry, you know, I cry. You know, sometimes I cry all day.
You know what my mother said? Go ahead and cry. This way you don't have to pee so often.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, I'm so happy the tears ran down my leg.
Like that, yeah. Now you have my phone number also, you know, and I'm up all night. I sleep opposite.
So do I.
I sleep
So
from
do
like 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and I'm not a nice person.
So do I. I go to bed at like 4 or 5
All
in the
right.
morning.
So there's a good connection, you
Yes,
see, and I'm
exactly.
not nice in the morning.
Oh, believe me,
yeah.
you know, I was so bad at one time that I'd be laying in bed and I'd wake up and I just knew as soon as my foot hit that floor, I was gonna be pissed. What? I don't know. As soon as I got up, I'd start walking down the stairs, and the dogs, they go run and hide underneath the table because they knew. But I don't know why, I'm just a grumpy in the morning.
Yeah.
But that wasn't part of my grumpiness. That was just part of my depression. That I was just so. They say that depression, most depression stems from anger.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I'm not depressed. I'm just pissed when somebody wakes me up.
Well, yeah,
Period.
I am that way too. And I think the reason why I am is because I have such a hard time sleeping.
Yeah.
And I wake up like 4 or 5 times a day, or a night, whatever. But I wake up 4 or 5 times, and when I do sleep, it's like, you know, it's like really precious to me, and I don't like it to be disturbed, you know.
Yeah.
So I get angry. I do get angry, but sometimes I get angry at things that I shouldn't even be angry about.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I'm getting ready to go somewhere and I can't find a certain pair of socks, which why I have to have a certain pair when I got a whole drawer full, I don't know. But it's just, I don't know. It's just part of my problem, I guess. I guess it's a problem. I don't know.
I'm going to share a little story with you. I was at a conference one time with some of the original government remote viewers. They are the people that, you know, they dealt with psychic warfare and all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a gentleman, his name is Graf, and he started, they called it the Stargate program. You know, like the TV show, except it was Stargate, you know, they had the Stargate and they went to other places.
Yeah.
Except this is a Stargate in real time.
Oh, wow.
And him and I was talking one time. He called it a senior moment we had.
Yeah.
And so we was talking about different things, and you know, and he was the most kindest and gentlest man. And when I go to the store or somebody really irritates me, I think about Dr. Graf. And he would reach over and he would say, so it's okay, dearie, you know, like come to all person. But if I didn't know, I thought he was the nicest man. But you know what? He could scramble your brain.
Yeah.
So when I get upset with people, my mind says, oh, Graf. So I'm back off because we don't know what the other person just went through.
This is true. You never know what someone else has been through. That's why I don't like to put titles or judge people, because you just don't know what they've been through. You just don't know. And I used to have this thing. I did it for a long time. That it was my goal. Every day I had a goal, and it was to make someone smile. And you know, it actually, even though you know it made them feel better because they did smile, it was so easy to do. It's so easy to make someone smile, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hurt you any, it doesn't cost you anything, and it makes you feel better too. And that's one thing that helps me.
That's really
when I
true.
have problems.
Yeah.
But I really, really like to doing that, and I should pick it up more often.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a people person mostly, but when I get out.
When that's the whole thing. When you get out, because sometimes it's just not worth it. Because it's a whole different universe out there, you know.
Well, you know, and I have such problems with paranoid and you know, and just people, and it's just part of, I don't know what they call my mental issues, I guess you can call it. But my friends always say it's getting you to go somewhere. It's like pulling teeth. They tell me. I say, well, you know, that's funny. My mom always said that too.
Well, you know, I'm really happy that you shared that with me, and I'm glad you came out today because, if you don't mind, I'd like to stay in touch with you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, wonderful. And well, you have 2 babies with you. Two little doggies.
Oh,
there's one, Pixie.
Francisco, come here, baby, say hi. Come here, Francisco.
Here.
This is my new one. I've only had him about 6 months. That's my Francisco boy.
It's so many, you know what? There's so many dogs here, and they all get along. Isn't that amazing?
They do, they really do. Well, he bit someone last time we were here. He bit a kid, but I think it's because the kid was kind of teasing him.
Well, yeah, but if you said young, he didn't know.
Yeah, he's not even a year old yet. He's learning.
So thank you
He's
for
learning.
not biting anybody today.
Yes, Francisco, that was a good boy.
Okay. And thank you. You've been delightful. Thank you very,
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you. I was
Okay.
very happy to meet you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Funny thing happened on the way to the where's
Miller,
it?
Sylvania.
To the Miller, Sylvania. We was coming here. I was looking for very regimented, military-oriented people that I'm used to from the good old days. And you never believe what I found. I found all these wonderful, open-minded, spiritual people. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I almost didn't come. And I'm in the right place. And if you remember, this is the lady that cries and laughs and tried to talk me into a plane ride when I wasn't myself. Carrie Houston. Hi, Carrie.
Hello.
You have to speak up
Hello, hello.
so they can
Hello,
hear you. Okay. And you are here because?
Well, my husband, Doc Brown, invited me to come to this. It's 22 Too Many, a day group. So it's about the veterans that are committing suicide at the rate of 22 a day. And I thought I was actually hooking up my fifth wheel and going back to Arizona on Friday, and couldn't go, and it seems Spirit wanted me here today. So I invited you, and I invited Terry, and here we are, and open-minded people we are finding.
Isn't that crazy though? You know, I don't have PTSD, but I have, oh my God, it's a military thing. I guess there's a
Yes.
word for that too. Yeah. And so I was a little concerned about coming, but here we are.
Here we are. We've been dealing with psychic matters and natural healing and energetic abilities and mediumship, dealing with some of the spirits that have crossed that were not at peace from suicide. We're just doing lots of things.
I mean, I know you real well, so I can ask you
Yeah.
this now. When you come from military, organized, programmed people, how do you end up like that?
It was a very difficult transition for me because I didn't believe in the majority of it. For me, it was, you know, if you couldn't touch it, it couldn't be. And I kept having, different things occur. Well, for me, all I have to do is have the experience. Whether I can explain it or not, I know the reality because I have experienced it. So I had different things put in front of me. Someone put an amethyst in my hand and I could feel the energy going up my arm, and until she put it there I didn't believe anything about it.
No, I just had a thought. I need to interrupt you
Yeah.
here. I don't know what that fits here, and I'm not sure if it fits at all. But I would assume if you're in a combat situation or a strange situation, you have to employ all your senses
Yes.
in order to survive, actually, or
Yes.
something.
I didn't know I was guided.
So do you think that most soldiers have that insight to them?
I don't know that most is the appropriate word. I would suspect that in the recent military it's more common because it's more open in civilian life. It's on TV shows, it's in movies, it's in books, and it's much more accepted without religious dogma beating us down and trying to convince us it's not real. I didn't understand about guidance, but I know that it has to have been what saved me when I was in the military. The gut instinct and not knowing how to describe it. The don't fly this aircraft today and not knowing why I didn't want to fly it. And then finding out it had massive engine problems.
Stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, but well, I'm glad you invited me. So you're in Arizona and you're doing what now?
I'm
You have the
living,
sun in your eyes? Hang on a minute, I'm gonna turn
Okay.
this off and switch positions. So Terry, you going back to Arizona?
Yes.
And then you're going to do?
Well, I'm working on my mediumship skills, actually.
Oh.
I was able to get a little house on a spiritualist camp, Sun Spiritualist Camp, about 35 miles from Phoenix. And there's a lot of spiritual talent in the area. So I'm going to 3 different spiritualist churches for mediumship training. It's something that I've always been interested in, and now I have instructors to help me with my abilities so that I know what I'm doing.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, and I'm going to get to this young lady. And I don't know your name.
My name is Sandy.
Sandy, hi Sandy. And you are here visiting the group because?
Actually, I'm a 22 Too Many veteran.
You are?
I am. I was in the Army 1979 to 1983. When the beginnings of some of the cruelties men could dish out on women were really beginning to kick in.
Ah.
That was a polite way to say that the happy rape factory began, and that's what it is, and sorry, don't get me going.
Well,
Yeah.
but if that's what you want to touch on or talk about, that'll be fine.
No, I'd really
No?
rather listen to this gal's story. I really would.
Oh, well,
She's an older veteran than I am.
well, yeah, but if we could, I bet you.
Oh, sure,
we
we
can
all...
talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So no, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said we. I'm not a veteran, but
2 and 5 women now.
yeah,
2 and 5.
yeah, and then they
I
wonder.
suspect it's
Higher.
4 out of 5.
Because now one of the things that victims are able to talk about is how the system towards women that would report was very, very punitive against us. They went after me when I tried to report someone. So, oh yeah, very punitive, and you learn how not to. And I just started learning really shitty behaviors to deal with the end result of all of that. And then, yeah, when was it? They started 1976 is when they started to let go of the WAC Corps.
Yes.
And maybe start.
I was already a warrant officer when they did away with the Women's Army Corps. I was already in Germany as a warrant officer when they just did away with the Women's Army Corps, and they didn't ask us if we wanted to be in this man's army. I went from understanding that I was a WAC with certain restrictions to being in this man's army, where
They can make it ugly.
they made it very ugly. Very ugly. I was actually reading a Vanity Fair article from this month, September of 2015, and in there they were talking about PTSD and the treatment for it, and I can't remember who wrote the article, but they made the claim that rape victims get over it, that it doesn't, the PTSD from it doesn't last long.
That is
And
one
they
thing
don't
that
know
absolutely
what they're talking about.
infuriates me.
It is so wrong. It is so wrong. Yeah, we figure out ways to cope, but it's pretty much a destructive coping. It is self-destructive because of what was done to us. It teaches us something wrong about ourselves, which is the complete opposite message of what we should have learned, which is that there's something wrong with the men in our society and that they continue to do these things and cover for each other. And that's not misandry. That I don't hate men, but I sure don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Department of Defense article regarding statistics on women. One of the things that was used to slow down the claims for sexual trauma survivors was in 2011 that the Department of Defense decided that rape was an occupational hazard.
Wow.
And it still stands. Is that some mess? Oh, there it goes.
A Republican congresswoman, and I remember her name, said that women, and she said it in front of a panel, that women should expect to be raped when they go in the military. That it comes with the territory. When I went in 1975, what I learned real quickly was that the only reason, as far as they felt, the only reason women went into the military was that you were either gay or a whore and looking for somebody's husband.
Oh.
And that was the first cultural shock going into the military, was finding out that everybody in a position of power thought you were a whore. And that's how
Thought
they
you
treated you.
were for their entertainment.
Yes.
Whatever vent that took, they didn't care. And yes, it was a boys' club, and they covered up behind each other. And when these claims and these findings, do you know what they fucking call it? They call it a phenomenon.
Wow.
Did you know how far back sexual assault has been used to control and victimize and disregard? That's been going on since...
Men took power.
Yeah, it's the whole...
It's patriarchy.
But it's always been there. Always been there. I studied so many of those articles in college speaking about even a mentality of certain religious sects that it was sects, hard word for me, that it was the father's responsibility to teach the young woman what she was supposed to do with her husband the first night.
I remember that.
Yeah, so you know I'm not out of my mind.
No.
So, and anyway, and it's not just women.
No.
It's not just women. There's many men getting raped too.
Yes.
And that's the truth.
Yes. And it doesn't matter how gentle the words are being used. Rape is rape. And it
Call it what it
traumatizes
is.
body, mind, and spirit. And that Western culture tends not to pay any attention to spirit as an actuality of what we are.
Oh my God,
It's
it
very hard to
controls
heal.
our disease tolerance.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If you don't recognize that each one of us is a spiritual being, you cannot heal the body and the mind. And I had to go way outside of VA in order to get the help that really started to put me together in some pieces. The instead of being scattered in 200 pieces, you know, I may only be scattered in 50 at this point, but it's a weird kind of super glue that holds me together. And I find that it's not necessarily a known trigger that will break the glue apart, and then I have to start putting the pieces back together.
It's like, damn it! Start over.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to set you off.
And it's, yeah, oh god damn, it pisses me off too some days. Because yeah, it's like da. That's why I know it created a spiritual malady.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's the journey I've been on. You know, Native American, I keep rolling back into pagan, and actually women. We were the gatherers and the medicine makers and the healers, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
It was a level of natural power.
Yeah, men as the protectors, and who let the dogs out. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It
sorry
does
I had to
create
change
it
the
does create a
subject. I was
psychic
starting
melody.
to crawl.
Yeah. It does create a psychic malady.
It does.
It's a spiritual malady because it's not recognized, and when you're in the military, it's the last thing that anybody would notice. You don't look at what it's doing to you spiritually. You're too busy trying to figure out if you're physically going to get through something or mentally. And nobody gives a hoot whether or not you're spiritual. The very first thing that you have to throw away when you start learning how to use a weapon is the thou shalt not kill. When you go into the military, thou shalt not kill gets thrown away because that's what you're there for.
Unless you're one of them conscientious objectors, in which case, what the fuck are you doing in the armed forces? Excuse me.
The thing is that no one, I suppose men have got some sort of an idea, maybe a better idea of what they're getting into when they go into the military. For the women going in, this need to help, to be of constructive part of society.
Too.
Do my part too, yes. And nobody ever warns you what they're about to do to you for having had that insane idea that you could make a positive difference in such a screwed up, violent, male, malevolent establishment. The willingness and the desire and the action of destroying people for the sheer joy of destroying people is what keeps going on in the military, and that it is a brother watching over each other's back system. It's not going to change until they're willing to face each other and say enough's enough. The women can't fix this. The men have to. And first
They have
off,
to help.
they
They
have,
have to
yes.
tell. They have to own the fact that they too create situations that make it dangerous and create situations where the potential for victims goes sky high. They got to do their part too.
Yeah.
And we got to do our part too, you know. Like I said, it's happening to dudes too.
Yeah.
But that...
We were talking at dinner, Carrie and her husband, we had dinner together yesterday, and we were talking about that some of the native tribe, when the warriors come home, they have a ceremony, and everybody takes responsibility. And so I was only an army wife, you know what I mean? But nobody knew anything, so we didn't know what the hell we were doing, you know what I mean? And
But
I lost
sharing
my
the burden,
son.
by
Sharing the
having,
burden, that's
by
where I was going,
having
yeah.
your community take
Yeah.
some of that responsibility off your
responsibility.
shoulders gives you the opportunity
Yeah.
to find your way back to yourself.
Yeah. And
Because you get lost.
I have a
absolutely.
family member. He every time I talk to him, he starts crying and he says, I'm not ready to go yet because I have to make sure that that God forgives me. He said, I keep praying that I didn't accidentally kill somebody, and he's 76 years old and he cries about what he might have done in Vietnam. You know. Yeah.
Survivor guilt is just
Yeah.
as crushing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And those guys and gals don't want to step forward
Yeah.
because they don't want to have to share the fact that, yeah, some of the shit, there's a couple of guys that have a hard time. You'll see them, they bounce in and out of a group of people too because they can't stand in the middle of it. And they're combat veterans, and I can pretty much pick them out.
Yeah.
I
Doc
can-
has survivor guilt.
Oh,
But
yeah.
about a lot of it.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
Vietnam.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Look how long ago that is.
And they're not over it.
No.
I got out in 84. I went in 75. I got out in 84. And I'm not over having been in the military by a long shot. I'm not over having been raped. I am not over having
My
been torn
experience
to
is
shreds.
shamed. Maybe I allowed it, but that experience shamed my pride that I had in the fucking uniform. That too was taken away from me. And reclaiming that, when I got back from Germany in 1983, I burned my fucking everything. I burned it all.
I have no pride in being in the military, not an iota, and I don't understand how
And
any woman
trying
can say
to
she was
take
proud.
that back, you know, and these guys have got to relate, but I don't think they do.
It's a different time.
It's an age thing.
It's
Yeah.
a different time.
Time,
Yeah, it's a different time.
Oh,
It's a different
thank
time.
you, sister.
It's a different time.
Woo, wait, we got it going on. Okay.
Yeah. When my ex-husband died, I saw pictures of him, and his fingernails were practically
Chewed off?
no, they were. His finger.
All gnarled.
Oh no, and I've never seen anything like it from that freaking Agent Orange. Just horrible.
And the VA
Just
denied,
horrible.
the government denied.
Everything, yeah. Just,
And those guys were rotted, those gals were rotting from the inside out. Can't, oh.
I remember when I was very young, I was in the hospital. I had what do you call that when you have problems with your colon?
Oh, diverticulitis.
Yes.
Or,
That's what Todd was
That's the one.
struggling with.
That's what I had.
diverticulitis.
And 40 years later, my husband tells me that the army called him in Vietnam and told him I was in the hospital and I had gonorrhea.
That was kind.
Yeah, and he's out
And
there.
where would you have picked it up from?
Oh, well, hello. But you know what I mean? So you got a person out there fighting for his life. Your wife is sicker than a dog, and you told me got gonorrhea and you had Madigan. And he told me that years and years later. Yeah. Not
they
good.
don't care.
About nothing, yeah.
No, they don't care about anything. They don't care about the damage done. One of the things that I noticed when I was in flight school was they had what was called Black Monday, and it was when you were brand new in flight school, and you went out there and your TAC instructor put you through your paces, and they just ran you into the ground. And all of them had been through it because they were all warrant officers, and it was Warrant Officer Candidate Rotary Wing Flight School. And what happens, because the cycle isn't stopped with practicality or intelligence, is that someone who's had something bad done to them, they make damn sure the next guy gets it worse, instead of stopping it because it didn't make sense to begin with. So they just keep adding it on, and it gets worse and worse and worse. It becomes a systemic disease, and it's rotting. It's rotting our society. The military is, in so many ways, so many of our civil rights changes have occurred because they were forced on the military, and the military made the change, and then it came out into society as people come out of the service. A lot of our civil changes have come that way, and they knew that they were going to create those changes. But this change, this male dominance that's become so malevolent, they're unwilling to give up the power in order to make the changes to bring us to peace. And that's within ourselves, within our nation, within our communities, within the world.
Oh, you pot-smoking hippie.
You know,
it would be nice enough to know better if I was.
Work like that.
Yeah. Peace? What's that?
Oh, that's a good shot. That's really a good shot, yeah.
You know, I just today, going back to the metaphysical aspect.
This is Mickey.
Hi, Mickey.
Hello, there's somebody coming. You want to have a seat?
I'm ready anytime.
Okay, we're just talking. If you want to sit down and join us. But we want to talk. No,
She wants to
No.
go, right?
have a seat.
No, come.
I heard enough of your. Have a seat, hon.
Okay, let me
Uh,
get my stuff.
Well, okay, because it's like a bridge. It goes right into what she wanted to
There we
talk
go.
about.
Yeah.
I overheard her say that she got put out of her apartment. And so what we were trying to talk about was what are the agencies, who helps us or not. So that goes right into what she wanted to talk about, right? Is it? Oh, you no.
Yeah, I'm very confused. Age is messed up, isn't it? Well, not
Yeah.
only that, but they did a number on me when I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
So I gotta have your name.
I'm Mickey Crooks.
Mickey Crooks. Very pleased to meet that you. Nice that you helped me.
Yeah.
Joined our group. There you go. Now I got it. Oh man, it's that between the eclipse and the sun beating on my little brain. That's what happened.
Has anybody seen it? It starts in
Yeah.
it's already started.
20 minutes.
It's on the other side of the trees.
Yeah, but it's bothering me. Okay, you have a story. I want to hear your story real quick.
Okay.
I
that's
mean,
why
maybe not real quick.
No,
but
that's why
I
did
would
what did.
appreciate it putting it on here. So.
Yeah, so, relax. I am a disabled vet of the Navy, and I have a 16-year-old precocious daughter, and I am not 55. I don't know how to put that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I'm not young. So
We turn her on, by the way. So.
So anyway, my daughter and I were planning this summer to take a vacation and take the car down 101 to...
You have to talk loud. I don't have a mic on there.
I can't do that.
You can't.
Okay, let me get... Okay, I'm going to put on my retail voice here, my retail voice. I did that for 5 years. Okay.
There you go.
So...
See how versatile
I
we
have
are?
a retail walk to go with.
Versatile.
So we were going to take a trip down 101 to Santa Cruz, and then hit all this, and then fly back up 5 and hit all my friends and get home that way. And that was our road trip, which I was going to explain the facts of life in some sort of way to her during that trip. That was my plan. So on May, I'm not doing well, and I can't focus on one thing at a time, and my property managers don't like to fix things and they like to ignore you, and if they don't like you, they like to make things difficult. And on May 31st, I had a bit of a nervous breakdown, and my neighbor, being very kind and sweet, called the cops on me. And so all the neighbors saw that I had the cops, and I was on top of my car, and I was in my house dress for about 45 minutes explaining to them I didn't want to blow anything up. My neighbor said something about me blowing something up, which I don't know what I said. She came in my house, and I had to make her leave. You know how it is when you have a nervous breakdown? Anyway, my daughter was not there, thank God. So that was what, May 30th? On June's the next month, right?
Yes.
Thank you. June 1st, I got a letter from housing, because they do my rent, and it said that Prime Locations was asking me to vacate in 20 days for no reason. So I asked housing, what does that mean? Because they inspected on the 3rd. And she said, well, you have to leave, and nobody's going to tell you why. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. And it's only legal in Washington, in case you don't know that. So I did all the legal stuff. I called all the numbers. I went to all the vet places, and everybody helps you once you're homeless. Well, I didn't want to get there, man. The reason I live in the apartments I live in under Prime Locations is because they're across the street from the high school. They're also walking distance to her elementary and middle school. So we've been there 7 years plus. I went to the manager. I said, can I sign a lease? She said, have a nice day, and smiled real pretty. So I left. And I looked for an apartment, and mid-July I found a couple, and I was denied. And I found out that I was denied because they weren't giving referrals. Well, you can't get an apartment if they don't give you referrals.
Yeah. So now to kind of tie this together for my audience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you: is there a veterans referral to anything that like happened to you?
Oh, veterans referral. I went to everybody, and I never got homeless. But the veteran referral I did contact with was the Veterans Assistance Fund, and they said as soon as you get a place and you get a lease, we will give you money to do that.
So they did help
So
you
that
a little bit.
was a net for me that
Good.
I couldn't have survived without that net. There's just no way. And also, like I said, if I had become homeless, I would have had more
But
help.
then you would have had resources. But okay.
But that was at least a net for, because I had a daughter, my goal was not to be homeless.
Yeah.
So I ended up emailing the president and saying, I'm disabled.
Which president?
Oh, I'm sorry, the
President
president
Obama.
of Prime Locations,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Zach Kosturas.
Okay.
I said, I'm disabled, you're not giving me referrals, and I've got a daughter, and this is killing me, and what was it? Yeah, that was on the 30th.
So you have a place to live now?
Well, so anyway, I emailed him, and I told him my story, and on August 10th, I emailed him, and he told me to talk to Mr. Strong, who's the vice president of Prime Locations and also the property manager of Meadowwood Apartments. And I emailed Mr. Strong and said, I have a situation, and you're killing me, and I need to stay where I'm at. You've made it so I cannot vacate due to my disability. And so he emailed back and told me to give him a call on August 10th. And so I got the email late and finally called him, and I left a message, and he finally called back, and he said, oh, well, we're not going to kick you out in the street. We'll let you stay month to month.
But you do have a place to live now,
So
right?
we packed everything and put it in storage, but we never had to leave our apartment. But everything we own is in storage, which I'm paying $100 a month for. So what was I going to say?
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you here for just a minute. what we were, you know, this may have to be a two-parter because this is taking a lot of time. And so I can't get to the rest of the people in a 1 hour period. So chances are this is a two-parter.
Yeah.
So I need to stick that in there.
Yeah.
So if we can't get done with all these interviews this time, we have to make it a two-parter.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm almost at the end of my,
Well, I'm
my
almost done.
hour. But I was talking to my viewers, dear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay? So now back to your story.
So anyway, August 10th, Mr. Strong emailed me to call him, and I called him and left a message, and he called back, and he said, we're not going to throw you out in the streets. We're going to let you stay month to month. On September 1st, I went to go sign a lease, so this wouldn't happen again, and the manager told me, well, I just came in the middle, and I don't really know what to say, and you can't sign a lease because we're not sure it's going to work out. I am now done, except for the fact I now have to take everything out of storage, and it's just me and my daughter, and I'm disabled, and I'm paying for storage. That was my summer. Oh, my daughter didn't get to do her honors homework for English due to the situation, and neither one of us are healthy. I lost 20 pounds, and it deteriorated our mental health as well. Other than that, everything is cool.
Oh. You have a lovely smile, dear.
Other than that, it's a piece of cake.
In fact, I took a picture.
I'd be done.
Yeah, so you just stay right there. Now, we have, I'm going to go, swing over here.
You know, even homeless women, all I can speak to, homeless women, veterans, they are some strong women. Even though they've been forced into a home, some that I've met on the streets in Seattle, they've been forced into that situation, and I've met others that have, like, okay, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna learn to make the best of this shit. And they're still, I believe the same thing, I just got off track, but if you can get someone into shelter or housing, then you slow down the amount of medical care they need. You slow down the amount of all kinds of stuff they need, right? I don't know.
If you can
sorry.
stabilize.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Stabilize
this
so that you're
situation
not-
made
yeah.
me unstable.
Oh,
So I got
yeah.
a script from my doctor for physical therapy and a PhD because of this situation.
A PhD.
Yeah. It's the only way I can get the meds so my skin doesn't crawl.
Wow.
Can you define PhD?
Physical. It's a. I'm sorry. I had a business and it was PhD, but that's. PhD is someone with a doctorate. Has been 8
That's-
years
that's
in
what I thought.
college.
Yeah.
8 years of
That's what I thought,
college.
okay.
Okay, we just want to make sure that's what you meant. All right.
Just in case it was something.
Just in
And
case it was
they gave
different.
me one in Tacoma, but I can't get there because of my disability.
Good night.
Oh,
Y'all be
okay.
safe, Debbie.
Good night. Nice to
That
see you.
wouldn't happen to be the lady with the
husband
pink
for you.
chest, would it?
No, it's
Okay,
Marilyn Monroe.
because I
Or
do need to
husband.
speak to her too.
Yeah.
Okay,
They might have.
so-
They might be gone.
I took, she let me take a picture of her chest, and I
Oh, okay.
wanted to talk to the rest of her.
I think they left. He was trying. Her husband was trying to get to visit his mother.
Well, okay.
So, but they'll be back next month.
I bet there's nothing to drink.
But I have to leave now because I can't see as it begins to get darker.
Me neither, but I don't
So I
care.
thank you very much.
Oh,
For
no,
having
thank
done
you.
this.
This has been
I
a
gave you the
blast.
number. I gave you my number.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we can stay in touch.
No, yeah, I've got your card. Oh.
And
It
thank
was
you for
wonderful to
telling
meet
your
you too, Mickey.
story.
Oh, this lady over here, get some of her juju.
So,
lady right here.
oh, well, I've been homeless, but
Me too, darling.
I didn't have
Been
a child.
meth addict, an
different with a
alcoholic.
kid.
That's, you know,
I tried to become an alcoholic, but it didn't work.
self-mutilator. Attempted suicide 3 times. It's pretty bad when you can't even
You know, my
fuck.
wheel froze when I did it.
Your steering
It did. My steering wheel froze until I got to my exit.
Yeah, that's called spirit.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, you don't, I have stories of the yin yang.
Here's one I can give you goosebumps with. Another piece of my story is I'm a recovering batterer.
Oh, goody.
So, well,
Gotta love those.
fuck, go away. No, wait a minute. So, I was getting ready. This is my PTSD. This woman used to come up on my back all the time.
this time she came up on my back and turned around, and it was like I had her like this.
Mm-hmm. I had a boyfriend like that.
And something put me back.
I heard that, girl.
And I was like,
I heard that.
and whoa.
I heard that.
That was,
I got lots of
you know,
stories
that
like
sense,
that.
oh fudge, yeah, the spirit. The spirit. So we're back on track. God, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll come again. Unless it's cold. I don't like cold weather, so.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's getting
Well,
kind of
yeah.
late in the year for me. Start having more trouble moving around.
Well, anyway, I got 11 minutes, and I have to put a beginning and an ending, so I'm going to thank you. Ouch. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I cut her head off. Can you believe it? So, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much. I think the
Peace out.
spirit
Thank
loves you,
you.
sweetheart.
Oh yeah, the spirit's always involved.
And
You
isn't
know,
it, isn't
'cause
it,
I was gonna
Thank
call-
you.
You're
Yeah, I was
welcome.
gonna call
it's
Vance.
great how the energy changes for the better. That was awesome too.
Ooh, let me.
We ate good. We got company. The sun's going down. Oh, the sun's going down, and we're waiting for the blood moon eclipse. I see you next week with another something, and have a good day. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hasta luego.
Have a good one.
Take us here, and you take us there, and it is just because